What's that?
It's a big, huge rabbit?
It was so round and meaty. Didn't it look yummy?
It must be easy for it to navigate these mountains.
Okay, welcome back to another Codex with Jace or Snack Pack, whatever you want to call me. Today we're talking about JRPGs and I'm using a controller. How weird is that? So JRPGs, the acronym is Japanese role-playing game. It's a very strange genre of game because it's stylistically pretty identifiable what is a JRPG and what isn't. But it doesn't necessarily follow its own rules, and it doesn't have strict rules explicitly. Usually the art style will follow a very anime sort of art style. Like, look at the characters in this game, which is Star Ocean: The Last Hope. They've got very anime influenced art style to it. Another thing you'll see that isn't very common in Western RPGs is that the setting will very typically not be... It's not necessarily futuristic, it's not necessarily set in like a high fantasy, you know, in the past style setting. This particular game, for example, is a sci-fi game. You're traveling through space and stuff. I've just landed on a planet that is supposed to be low technology, similar to the Dark Ages. And yeah, so that's what this particular game's like, but you can get steampunk stuff that's hybrid with sci-fi or like high fantasy steampunk. You can get all sorts of weird settings mashed up, and it's fantastic. It's a really cool way of, setting up games. The storylines are usually quite convoluted and difficult, which is pretty standard for a lot of these sorts of games. But that's super cool and it's a unique trait of the games. The next thing that sort of really sets it apart is that as much as combat isn't always turn-based, it usually follows the rules of turn-based combat pretty well. So as you might have noticed in this particular game, I am playing in a real-time combat scenario, but it still pulls you away from walking around the map to drop you in a fight scene. And then as much as the actual combat is sort of real-time, you have cooldowns on each attack. You can't be attacking when also guarding, and if you go to use items, there's cooldowns on the items and it brings up a menu. So it does sort of follow turn-based rules, but the combat's still real-time. And so these are all very unique traits of JRPGs, and this is sort of how you spot a JRPG from a distance.
Indeed.
But it's a genre well worth checking out if you're into RPGs and you just want something a little out there and a bit kooky and a bit weird. So I'll talk to you all next time.
Yeah.